What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Afros in the Diaspora. And today we have a special guest, because yes, all our guests are special, but we have Morountodun. I've seen
Hey.
something that is sweet. That's the full name. Her name is Todun, and she is I don't know if you can tell, obviously, but she's a gym girly. She's a certified fitness coach. Like, she is out here doing her thing with Todun. Moral Todun, say hello to the masses.
Hello,
Say
hello,
hello.
hello, hello. Thank you so much. Yes. My name is Morountodun, and yes, I am a certified personal trainer, and currently I'm running Todun. So, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to
Thank you
this
for having
space where we get to talk and chat all things being an immigrant in the diaspora. So as you know, we're gonna hop head first into those trivia questions, okay?
me.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. We're gonna do it. We're diving right into it. Okay, so from your name, you are a Yoruba woman from Nigeria. Yes, so I hope you are familiar with your motherland. I'm gonna start easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna start light. You feel
Okay.
me?
Something light. Something
Something exactly, something, something like. Okay. All right. What's the name of the current president of Nigeria? If you don't know this one, if you don't know this one,
I haven't been in Nigeria since I came here, which is
do
15.
you have to be in Nigeria to know what's happening there?
His name Fashola.
Ah!
I
Did you
didn't.
say Fashola? I'm gone.
Is it Tinubu? No, I swear. I always mix Fashola and Tinubu up because I guess they're friends. So yeah, okay. Tinubu.
Okay, I'm not laughing at you. I'm
I
laughing.
still
I'm
need to
laughing
renew
with
my
you.
passport. I still need to renew my Nigerian passport. So I better get this question right.
It is Tinubu T-Pain. He's the one showing Nigeria's shege at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh my days. I'm so sorry. I got tickled by that answer. I'm so sorry. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's move on to another relatively. I mean, I thought that first question was easy, but we'll move on to another one. what is what's the name of the currency that is currently used in Nigeria?
Naira.
Okay, you know that you know your money and your currencies. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. All
Let me go find me.
right. Okay, so speaking of naira, whose face is on the 500 naira notes?
Can I Google and chat
No,
GPT?
you cannot. How dare you? You can't. You can't
Um,
Google it. No.
Tafawa Balewa.
Mm-mm. This one. Okay, you know what? I'll give you a hint. He's an Igbo man.
Chim.
Were you about to say Chinua Achebe or
No,
something of
no,
that?
no, no.
Okay, cause
That's that. He's a writer.
he
What's
exactly.
I don't know actually. This one I don't.
Okay, I'll give you the answer. It's Namdi
Inamdi
Azikiwe.
Azikiwe. Yeah, you just have to give me a little hint. You see, once you said Inamdi, I knew it was Azikiwe. I still.
Look at your face. Which other Namdi is there in Nigerian political history? You're funny. Okay, let's go. Let's take it up a notch. You mentioned Tafawa Balewa, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so what note is Tafawa Balewa on?
on five naira maybe.
Okay, you know that one. Yeah, the 5 naira note.
Yes. Okay. I'm a real Nigerian babe.
Okay, what is Nigeria's capital? What's the capital of Nigeria?
Nigeria capital Abuja.
Yeah, Abuja.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Abuja.
yeah.
Oh my
Sorosoke,
God,
speak loud, speak
Serena!
loud.
Let's get
You
into
got it.
it.
What is
What is
what is the first line of Nigeria's new national anthem?
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's color. Okay, that's all I know.
That's that's the old one,
Ah,
sorry. I said the new one.
wait, we
That's
have
the
a
old
new one?
one. Girl, yes.
When? I'm being so for real right now.
since since Tinubu got on that seat, and he changed it. That's
Are you
literally
serious?
yeah.
I didn't hear this one.
Oh my god.
That's say
Okay,
vibing.
it's
No, I actually have no idea.
you're like I was vibing with you, but
No, actually, I have no idea.
okay. It's Nigeria. We hail thee. Our own dear
Found this
native.
land or
Is
something
they
like that. But that
literally?
was an old
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yep. They brought it back. They brought back the
Oh,
old
they
one.
brought back.
Yep.
See, I kind of know my history. I know we had that song, but we haven't had it in years.
She said, "I kind of know my history."
I literally haven't been in like 15 years. You gotta cut me a little slack here, please.
No slacks at all. None. Okay.
Okay.
What is the motto of
Like
Nigeria?
the coat of arms,
Yes,
peace, strength, something.
there's peace in there, but it's
Peace.
not peace trees.
I know it has a horse and two eagles on the side or something like that. I don't. Peace.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's unity and faith, peace and progress.
Sure. Yeah. This is my sign to go for Dirty December.
Yay! Go, 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 go. Go for it. It's amazing. All right, so we're going to move over to the riddles. You didn't do too
I
bad.
try.
All right, I'm going to ask a riddle
Okay.
now. I'll ask three
Okay.
riddles, okay? So, an electric train is moving north at 100 miles per hour. Which way does the smoke blow?
So no smoke because it's electric. They don't want the smoke.
That's
They
it.
don't want the smoke.
That's it. They don't want the smoke. There's
Nice.
no smoke.
Nice.
Okay,
Yes.
good,
Wow.
good, good.
Okay.
Well done. How many bricks does it take to complete a building made of bricks? There
One.
you go. One.
No way. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah.
I suck at riddles, by the way. So the fact that I actually got these two, I'm impressed. I'm using 99% of my brain cells right now.
You know what? And they're doing their job, okay? Like you're good. So well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yay.
Well done. Yay. Okay, so we're gonna go right into our
Okay.
topic. And today we're talking about we're gonna just start with your story and like your immigration journey into Nigeria, sorry, from Nigeria into Canada. So just like briefly tell us your immigration story.
So it actually took a while, actually. We were coming in as permanent residents, and my parents had filed. I think it took about 7 years for us to finally come here. I don't know why it took so long. I guess just Nigeria and the process of coming here. It was really like it took a while for us to come, but eventually it did happen. We came here all together, but my dad had come about a month earlier just to set up the place for us to come, and then we came a month later. So, yeah, but it definitely took like 7 years to do it the right
Wow.
way. Yeah.
To do the right, I mean, like you got to do
Yeah,
the
you
right way
have
though,
to.
right? Especially when you're coming with
Yeah, when you're
kids.
bringing
So shout out,
family.
yeah, 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 yeah. Amazing. Okay, so our topic today is a little bit of a raw subject, but
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go into it, and I'm just going to invite grace and kindness from our listeners
Mm-hmm.
as we start this conversation. So we're gonna talk about growing up in a Nigerian home as an immigrant and like what becoming your own person looks like, and in African homes we don't do that thing of when you are 18 you are out of the
No,
house.
it's
Like
never that. It's never
that's not the
that.
lifestyle, that's not the culture,
No.
that's not the culture. So yeah, would you mind just telling us a little bit about your own story, Todun, just settling with your parents, what life was kind of like and how you kind of found your way, or you are finding your
Finding my
way.
way. Yes. I would say to a certain extent, I lived like a privileged life in Nigeria for sure. My dad is a lawyer, and my mom, she's a teacher, but she also worked in the entertainment industry in Nigeria. So she worked with telecommunications industry, so MTN, Glow, all of those companies. She was the one doing the voiceover for them. So yeah, she did the voiceovers. She did translations with like USAID, United States Agency for International Development. And so I was
Okay.
exposed to those kind of experiences. And I would say, in that kind of situation, I would say, looking back now, I would say I had a privileged life. Like, we didn't really struggle. I don't remember us struggling in Nigeria for anything really. Maybe my parents kept that from us because Nigerian parents also like there could be stuff going on and you literally have no idea.
You would
You will
never
never
know.
know. So, but from
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which
perspective,
is good because they want to protect you,
I
right?
mean,
Like as a kid, you don't
fair,
need to be knowing the chaos.
fair.
You don't need to be knowing that it's
No,
our last dime that
yeah.
paid for rent
So
tonight, you
from what
know?
I could see and from what I could perceive, like I always had what I wanted, and it's not like you could be like Nigerian parents won't spoil you, but you always have like
Hmm.
the basics, like the needs that you want, like your school uniforms,
Yeah,
your
you be
books, like
comfortable.
all those things. Like you
Yeah.
always have those things, like Christmas clothes and then those like essentials. You have the essentials, and I think for the ways that we were raised, that was more than enough because we saw the people even
Amazing.
struggling with those things. So being in a position where you don't have to struggle for those things, and it's just like if you get A in this class, you get what you want. It's like okay, great, that's good. So I would say to a certain extent, yeah, it was definitely like privileged until we moved here, and then that was like a whole different conversation.
What was that like though?
I didn't know what to expect because I moved here when I was 14. I'm 29 now. I moved here when I was
Hmm.
14. So in my mind, I just thought it was just a move. And I think my biggest concern at that point was that I was going to miss my friends and I wouldn't be able to see them anymore. I literally had no idea what it was like to live abroad. I also never really watched TV as a kid. And till today, I still struggle so much when it comes to like watching movies or watching TV because I wasn't really exposed to those things. Like we would have books, like we had a bookshelf and we would have books to read. So because of that, I wasn't able to like form like a thought or an opinion of what it would be like to come to Canada and to live in Canada. Everything that I experienced was something that was new to me, not something I had read before or necessarily like heard and understood before. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was definitely the way that I found out about moving here. Yeah.
And so like cuz you moved here at 14, right? So 14 you're becoming a teenager, right? So like so what was that
It
like
was
settling here and
hard. It
like
was
I would
really, really
imagine.
difficult. I think the part for me that was the hardest part was having an accent and like having to repeat things so many times because people didn't understand what I was
Mhm.
saying. Like for example, I would need a pen, but I would say, "Hey, I can, where can I get a biro? Where can I get a biro?" Because in Nigeria we call Biros.
Called
Yeah,
Byro.
and just
Yep.
like having to navigate through that and making friends. Kids are not very nice in junior high and just school and having to deal with that. Thankfully, like honestly, I met someone on like the first day of school and I'm still friends with her like 15 years later. But I feel like that's like a one off. And even despite having
Yeah.
that, it was still really hard to navigate through just like understanding little things, like knowing how to open a locker. Like I was always so stumped on that. It's like everybody go to your lockers, go bring this. I'm like, oh no, we gotta go to this lockers. I don't know how this locker stuff works. Yeah. Like you turn it this way, you turn it that.
Yeah.
So little things like that. It was definitely hard. The cold, obviously. We came in
Yep.
October, and literally the day we came, the next day it started snowing, and that was my first experience. Honestly, my first experience ever experiencing snow, and I don't know what I thought. Like what it would be, but I didn't know how cold it would be. I was literally like shivering. We had to go to the bus stop. I was like, wait, wait, wait. This is not what I came here for. Like
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be a completely like different experience. Roses and like unicorns or something,
No
but not
roses.
this
Yeah, no,
no,
no.
not this.
Sorry, no
And
unicorn.
the funniest part is we had winter coats. Like so we brought winter coats from Nigeria here we were wearing it in Nigeria, we were doing almost like a haul, like, oh, this is gonna be so good for the Canadian cold. This is gonna I'm telling you right now, it was not good for the Canadian. It was nothing.
It
We
was
we we
nothing.
got those it's so funny. I got those heels with like the fur on the top of it, like the heels with the fur. We had my mom and I went to Yaba. We scouted like everywhere trying to find me these best boots. This I'm telling you right now, it was my toes were gone. Frostbite was in
Days.
my neighborhood that day. Yeah, it was no, it was so cold. Like honestly, we had to go to Walmart and actually get like boots, like actual shoes that were gonna keep you warm.
Yeah,
Because I don't think we could like imagine that kind of cold coming from Nigeria, which is like plus 30, and you come here, it's like minus. It was probably like minus 10, probably not even that bad. But to us, because we'd never experienced such like cold weather, it was very shocking to the system.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very shocking. What was it like just growing up with your parents with you and like becoming a young adult and like needing your own becoming a
I
woman
think,
versus
yeah.
while
I
Yeah.
think that was the hardest part. I think when I was younger and being a young adult, I just I didn't know a lot of things. There were so many things that I didn't know were wrong, or, maybe you shouldn't talk to kids like this or treat kids like this and stuff like that. But again, you have to remember that I lived in Nigeria, and I lived in Nigeria for 14 years. I grew up there. Like, my whole entire experience is very rooted in Nigerian culture. And so for me to move here and see how parents talk to their kids or how teachers interact with their students and things like that, it was very new to
Hmm.
me. And because of that, and because I, like, love and loved my parents, I just always accepted what was and looked at it as like, oh, this is a Western culture. Like, you're a Nigerian girl. Like, it's very different. But I think
Hmm.
for me, I think it got worse when I started growing up for real. Like, when you graduate university, because even throughout high school, I was still like, just look the other way. If your Nigerian parent says this, you look the other way. If they do that, they brought you into this world, they brought you to Canada, you need to be appreciative of that. And I am truly appreciative of that. I can't imagine what it's like to be an adult who has their life. They've been established in Nigeria for years, and for them to completely put that all aside and come here because they want us to have a better life and for us to have better
Yeah.
experiences and education in the future. I will never, ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever discredit that. But there comes a time where
Hmm.
it's like we're also growing up, and you need to let us grow. You can't
Hmm.
try to completely, I wouldn't say shelter us, but just make us feel like we're not adults. Like, it gets to a point where you kind of have to, just step back a little bit. You leave the space for us to come in, but don't overcrowd us and don't make it feel like we don't have any sense
I
of
see.
agency, especially because we are living in a Canadian society. At this point, I've lived in Canada more than I've lived in Nigeria. So it's like
Yep.
all the experiences I know as an adult woman is Canadian. So
Hmm.
leaving room for that, and I think that is something that they struggle with, leaving room for us to grow. Yeah.
What did that look like though? Because like I'm also born and bred and buttered in Nigeria before I found my way
Yeah.
here. And completely, to what you said, like the upbringing in Nigeria
Different.
vastly
Different.
different from the upbringing here. Here you can't like yell, you can't like reprimand, or I don't you can't spank your kids, you can't like discipline looks very, very different
Hmm.
here, to where like parents are negotiating with children versus at home your parent says
This and
a
it's
and
a.
a it is that exactly what it is. There's no back
Yeah.
talk, there's no coming to a middle
Hmm.
ground, which like there is value in that, right?
Hmm.
Like I feel like in a lot of ways some kids just have not you can't really negotiate with some children because they will just trample over
Exactly.
you. So while yeah, so totally, while like it's a different communities, different societies, different like understandings of what upbringing looks
Hmm.
like, different understanding of like punishment, disciplining, childbearing, child
Hmm.
raising of kids. Really, religion is also a very, very huge aspect of it, to where like, oh, the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child, and like so all of that plays into it, like and societal pressures as well. I had a mother on this podcast, and she talked about how parents also have peer pressure,
Hmm.
where they're like, well, when everyone else is bragging about like their kids, I want to be able to brag about
Hmm.
mine, like so therefore you will do this because this will make me look
Yeah.
good, and so there are all these
Very
layers,
layered.
right? To yeah, these layers to raising a family, being a parent, being kids, what discipline looks like, what life looks like,
Hmm.
what is allowed and accepted in the society, and all of that. But a big part of that can be labeled violence,
Hmm.
just because like sometimes some parents, not at all generalizing here at all, some parents don't know the line between beating and
Hmm.
spanking. You know what I mean? And that line, that very thin line, is what goes from discipline to
Abuse.
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, some parents don't understand that line, right? Because most people can only give what they have. If that was their upbringing, to where they will beat you until you are blue and purple, that's what they know, and so they're like, well, I turned out okay, so I guess this is the way to raise my kid,
Hmm.
right? And because we grew up in a society where mental health is not really a thing that is really investigated or talked about, or considered real in a lot of ways. Sometimes people don't really take the time to see, wait, how did that really affect
Mhm.
me? Oh, you turned out okay, you turned out okay, but you have anger issues.
Mhm.
You turned out
Mhm.
okay, you turned out okay, but you have all these things that creep up here and
Mhm.
there that you just like suppress and suppress
Mhm.
and be like, I'm marching on to heaven. I'm the Lord is with that, like be very use religion to kind of
Mask.
carry yourself and give yourself hope, exactly, mask things up. So yeah, so like I completely hear you. Like that's a society we come
Mhm.
from. Like you moved at 14. I moved when I was 20 years old after university. So life
Different. Yeah, upside down.
very
Yeah.
different coming, very, very different coming over here and starting life by myself. So I hear you when you say that, like, and again, like growing up, right? Like there's also respect is a big thing in our culture
And that's why I
as
was going
well.
to talk about when you talk about negotiating. Sometimes I think the ways, again, I'm not a parent, so I cannot speak from a parent's perspective, but just as
Hmm.
someone who is growing up and who has friends who've grown up here and the conversations that we've had, it's like sometimes parents think that
Hmm.
they're negotiating with terrorists and not their actual children. Because it's like, if I'm your child and you claim to love me, then there has to be some level of respect in you being able to listen to me. If I say, hey, the way that you talk hurts my feelings. I'm not saying this because I am quote unquote whitewashed or because I've lived in Canada for too long. I'm saying this because as a person who is also processing emotions and going through just the daily life things, life is already hard. When I come home, I would hope that you, my parents, would be my safe space. But when I come here, like you said, they're comparing you to other people's children and all this stuff. But I'm like, you cannot compare me to other people's children when you have not given me the same level of support. You can't. You can't compare me to other people's children who they came here before they had kids. Their kids were born here. They've had more time to establish themselves. We're new here. We're figuring this thing out. You have to give us some grace. And they have to give themselves grace. They're not even giving themselves
Hmm.
grace. And because they cannot give themselves grace, they will never. I'm so sorry. Never is such an absolute word. But I genuinely think they're not capable of giving us grace because they can't give themselves grace. And it's so sad to
Yeah.
watch because it's like I'm trying to figure my life out too. I also want to be successful. I also want to be able to brag about
Hmm.
myself and be like, hey, these are the things that I do. These are the things that I love. These are the things that I've done.
Hmm.
But if I am making a mistake or maybe a misstep, but you won't even give me. That's another thing with Nigerian parents. You're not allowed to make mistakes. You are not allowed to make mistakes. If I make a
What are
mistake, like
those?
honestly, and as a person, you will make mistakes. You will mess up. You will fumble. You will so many different things. But it's like if you make a mistake, instead of having a safe space of going to your parents to tell them because they have more life experience and hopefully they can guide you, you're scared to go to them because you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I made this mistake. This is the end of the world. So you end up making more mistakes because you don't have the experience to figure yourself out of it. I don't think they give us enough grace to make mistakes, to be human beings, and to also understand that we are also new as they are here, and figuring all of this out together. Again,
Yeah.
it's not something about being too westernized or things like that to be in touch with your emotions or, like you're saying, mental health and all that stuff. It's like, it's just human. Like when you really think about it, it's not really westernized. It's just someone who's like actually taking the time to step back and think about the situation and having empathy. Like, how is empathy a westernized concept?
Yeah.
That is so
It
that
should
I'm
not
like,
be. It's a
but
human
even
concept,
even in the
totally.
Bible, don't we have Bible stories of empathy? Like so many times, they pick and choose which part of the Bible that they want to see. They'll say,
Yes, that is
"Honor your
true.
father and mother," but do you guys see the
Hmm.
part where it tells you not to provoke your children? Or no, or no, we're just gonna skip that part.
Yeah, 100%,
So my
100%. I hear
yeah,
that.
that's been like my take on it. It's like I don't even till now, like I still struggle with the whole like, respect your parents so that your days on the earth are gonna be long, and which is why a lot of the times like, I always make this joke on my Instagram stories, like when I moved out I should have crashed out, but I never did because it's like I in my mind it's like I want to go to heaven so bad that like I didn't feel like I should have done that. But like looking back, like if I had the chance ever again, I would have to crash out and ask for forgiveness after. When kids like move out, like they will fight their parents. They will do this, they'll do that. Me, I didn't even fight.
Make it a
I
big
didn't even
fight, make it a
fight. Or
brawl before you leave.
they told me to move out. She, I found the apartment the next day and I moved out. I didn't even say "Kweke," I didn't even say. I just moved out jejely. But when I think about that, I'm like, I only did this because of the Christian way and the traditional ways that I've been raised to, like, don't talk back to your parents, don't disrespect your parents, even though they stay violating us all the time. And like when I think about it,
Hmm.
I'm like, I should totally, like, I should have said something. Like I should not have left as peacefully as I did. Like I should have like done something. I literally did nothing and I moved out. I'm like, damn, that hurt me.
No, but you
Leaving
see,
in
but there's
peace?
power in that, right? Yeah.
Leaving in
I just
peace?
said leaving in peace. No, okay.
And I've
See,
been crashing out ever since.
that's too funny. That's too
I'm like, I'm not
funny.
living in peace anymore. Why are you at peace, but I'm not? When I didn't cause the problems, but I'm living in peace, and you've disturbed. First of all, you disturbed my peace, and I left in peace. No, we have to fight, actually. But you know what? In a way, I feel dignified in the way that I left and just kind of left everything as is. But it doesn't change the fact that the whole situation that surrounded me moving out was extremely hurtful. Like, there's something I will never forget in my life.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll get to the point where I'll ask you that if you're
yeah,
open to
sure. I'm
sharing.
curious now.
But no, you touched on some really, really important things. Like respect is such
Hmm,
a big thing in our culture, and the idea of what respect is very subjective and one-sided.
very.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially, and like with your, if you have small children, like respect doesn't really come into play as it would when your kid is 18 and above, because you've done all the groundwork of raising them, teaching them, grooming them, instilling, values in them and all of that. But I think the part where recognizing that, okay, this is a full grown adult who is capable of making their own
Decisions,
choices,
yeah.
like, see, yeah, that's that letting go for you to actually live your
It's so
life,
hard for
like
them.
that right there is, can be really, really, really hard and really, really like, and I don't know if it's there, part of that of course has been talked about with like the pressures of, will you make the right choice, like, will they see you outside, will they call me tomorrow that you are this.
But they have to trust themselves, right? If you've done the work,
Exactly,
if you
exactly.
genuinely have done the work, why would you be
Hmm.
stressed? The Bible says, by their fruits we shall know them. If you've already done the plan,
Yeah,
you've done
okay,
it.
quoting the
No,
word, okay,
because they love to use,
okay,
no,
okay.
they love to use the word back at us, and they taught us. So if I
Yes,
was in
they do.
Sunday school every single day, I gotta have some verses to fight back.
Yeah.
No, but if you've done the
Point
work,
is,
why would you be stressed if I'm going out into the world? And also another thing is, if you've done the work and you know the kind of child you have, is this child the type to do
hmm,
all this stuff? We've never seen this child do any kind of stuff like this. Why would they wake up one day and do that? And even if they did, wouldn't you be like, wait, that's actually odd, they never were moving like that, is everything okay? Wouldn't that be like the
yeah, yeah,
first
yeah,
questions
yeah,
for you
yeah.
to ask? Meanwhile, no, they won't even come and tell you. Next thing you know, your auntie's calling you, your uncle's calling you, your grandma's calling you. It's like, what did I even do? Everybody's adding you on Facebook trying to like, calm down.
They reported you to the family.
You're in a, they're talking about you in a family group chat you're not even in. Like, what is going on?
The group chat, but it's
Yeah,
about you. The title of the
for
group chat
real,
is
for real.
Morountodun! Exclamation! Exclamation!
Like, we have
Exclamation!
to fix this girl, and I'm like, what am I even doing? Because I wore shorts and a mini skirt. Okay.
Oh my days. But yeah, no, like those are very real things, like the struggle to release and let go. Because I traveled over 7 rivers and 7 oceans and 7 seas and
Mm-hmm.
7 mountains away from my family, that was a lot easier because all my life I'd gone to boarding
Oh, you
house.
went to boarding
um
school.
i went I went
Ooh,
to boarding
strongest soldier.
school. I went to yeah. I went to boarding school in during secondary school, or high
Yeah.
school as it's called here. I was on campus, my university, so I wasn't at home. And then I traveled, like, you know what I mean. So I think that exercise of letting go and releasing was already kind of sort
In
of
your mind.
there,
Yeah.
even though, like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
in within our relationship, even though it's like my mom still wants to be involved. You know what I mean?
They
So
will
she'll call
always
on,
be
which is
involved.
absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That like,
Yeah, which is that's amazing.
yeah,
That's what
and
you
we
want,
want them
right?
to be
But also
involved.
let me.
We actually, to a certain extent, we want them to be involved, but you can't dominate the whole entire thing. It's not your experience.
Hold, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't now want to like take over and do this or
Yeah,
like,
or
and
else it's
that's where
always
it
the
starts
threats
to.
for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, truly the threat
I wish,
the
you know,
threats and the trying to control,
you know, In a way, I'm so glad this whole entire thing happened because I always wonder what kind of person I would be if I didn't go through that experience. I think going through those kind of experiences makes you so strong in your own like personality and the person that you are. Because I don't know why someone in this world would think that they would ever threaten me at this point now. It will never work. Because like, if when they try to threaten me, I moved out. What are you gonna do? No, like no, this is not. You know,
Because that's the thing. Like you can do whatever you want as long as it's not in there. They're not looking at it every
no,
day.
you
Like
can't. You actually
some
can't.
some parents, yeah,
Yours you
yeah,
can.
some
Mine
parents.
I can't even.
You can't. Oh
If
man, what?
somebody hears it and they go and tell them, you're in trouble. But it's like what my question is, what did I do? It will be something very,
Mm,
someone is on my Facebook right now commenting, you're a child of God, you shouldn't be doing this, doing that. I'm like, because I traveled and I wore a Skims dress. Like the and it's funny because the things that they pick at, it's like stuff that is so it's so in my well the way that I think it's so small, but the things that they're actually supposed to address, like when people act certain ways in churches, or for example,
right.
domestic violence in marriages and stuff like that,
Oh,
and things
okay.
like that, it's like
Yeah.
everybody's like hush 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 hush. But me wearing a Skims dress is where you draw the line. The way the values
Mm,
and the things that they prioritize has never ever made any sense to me. Serious issues they downplay under the rug. Let's put
they
that one
play it.
under the rug. But the ones that
Let's
you show that doesn't
literally that.
align with quote unquote Christian values, that they also have like roles for the Christians. Some of it is higher than the others. If they think this Christian value is higher, or then and you're doing that one, then you're in complete trouble. And it's like it doesn't to me it doesn't make
Oh,
any sense.
so like dressing then is a big thing to where they'll
Huge
see
thing.
you and
The
then
modesty
stack.
thing, the modesty conversation. Oh my god. You know, that one is a conversation for another day. They actually have like such a massive problem with it. And it's like they're willing to override any contents of your heart, the kind of person that you are to other people, the kind of person that you are to them, because you're not dressing a certain way, because they think that the way that you dress is kind of how you are completely. They're not willing to see. It's like the same thing, like you can't have tattoos. Like you can't have piercings. Like things like that. It's like you're gonna judge someone because they have a piercing on the top of their ear, like because they have a sleeve. I'm gonna say they're not a kind of person because of that. Like things like that for me, it's like, again, I grew up here at this
Right.
point. It doesn't make any sense. Like maybe if I lived in
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, maybe I could see, maybe I could
Mm-hmm.
think like that. But I didn't grow up there, like in ways that are extremely formative to me. So I just sometimes it's like these conversations I just don't understand. I'm like, how are we? Why are you
Oh, I
making
see.
large issues out of something that doesn't? To me, it's just like what?
It's
And
not that deep.
yeah, and
Oh,
when
I
you say it's not that deep to
yeah.
them, it's like you're disrespecting them by thinking because someone
Yeah.
got a tattoo is really not that.
Honestly, for a lot of African parents, like the moment you disagree, that's disrespect.
You're
The
right.
moment you disagree, that right there is disrespect. That's the definition of disrespect. And like it's not
It's not even a conversation that you can
it's
have
not
anymore because it's like once they think you're
yeah, yeah,
disrespecting
yeah.
them, then it's like end of
That's
yeah,
it.
that's it. Like you can't get a word
That's
in.
it. That's the end of the
It's
conversation. You
sad.
cannot get a word in. You have crossed the
Yeah.
line. Which like I, I there's this YouTube channel called Cruise
Mhm.
where they set up these debates between ends of a spectrum. So like parents versus
I think I've seen it.
children, or millennials versus yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have to prepare my mind to watch this particular one because like this dude, I think they put like parents versus millennial no Gen Z kids, and that conversation that conversation
It's not gonna go
is
well.
very spicy. It's very spicy because the like the people there were basically saying that I can't talk to you because anything that does not agree, if you're not saying tick
Yes.
tick yes
Yeah.
yes yes, it's disrespectful. So they can't even, like, children can't really bring things to their parents to say this is what's going on, because the first thing you'll be met with is judgment and criticism
Mhm.
first and foremost, not understanding, not
And something I
kindness,
wish they
not
understood was that when they condition us to only be yes men, it makes it really hard for you to function as an adult in society because there are going to be times where you actually have to
yes,
say no to a lot of things. But when
yeah,
you're so used to saying
yeah,
yes and saying yes to authority, it makes it very hard for you to say no to something that actually isn't like doesn't align with you, because you feel like you're doing something wrong, because every time you said no or disagree to your parents, you've been made to feel a certain kind of way. And that also goes back to the whole like learning outside of living in an African household, where I'm literally just thrusted into the real world and having to make decisions for myself and be like, no, I actually don't like
Yeah.
that. Yes, I want to do that. No, I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do that. It's really hard when you go from literally being forced to say, yes, yes. And it's
Yes.
so funny because my parents always said, "Oh, you're so stubborn. You're so stubborn." And I'm like, I don't even think I was. I would just sometimes I would just not agree with something. How does me not agreeing with something currently? All of a sudden I'm stubborn. Like, and that's the thing. They will call you every single name under the book. And as someone who's sensitive, like I
Oh,
always took
yeah.
those things so personally. I'm like,
Very
it'll take you back.
personally,
Like,
same.
am I really like that? And like, you go into the real
Yeah,
world, you're
yeah.
trying to navigate how to not be this kind of person that makes other people uncomfortable or whatever. And literally, all you're saying is no. And it's
Hmm.
like you're not even saying no to
100%.
something that's like huge. It's just like, oh no, I don't want to eat this, or no, this isn't what I ordered. Please, can you help me fix my order? You can't even. It makes it hard for you to say no in those situations because you're literally conditioned to
So
always say
basically,
yes.
yeah, so people pleasing and then self advocacy becomes
Self
so hard and
advocacy
almost
is literally
impossible
like
for
a
you
job you
to.
have to learn to do on your.
You're relearning, and this is something I actually can relate to. I feel like for the majority of my life, I've been a people pleaser. In as much as I'll be termed like stubborn and
Yeah,
this and that. I think because I mean, in my own healing journey, I'm seeing and learning that most of the trauma that people have for the rest of their life originates in childhood and with their primary caregiver, basically your parents. And oh my days, like doing that inner work and shadow work to
are
just see, where did this come from? Oh, there it is. That's where it came from, and it's really, really, really hard to unlearn and relearn
yes,
stuff.
or
And
reparent
I don't
yourself.
know, reparent. Oh, that's it right there. Is reparenting yourself and just like gently in a way that like
Yes,
you have to in the way that you needed at the time, but like your parents weren't able to give to you because at the end of the day, like I was saying, like our parents literally grew up at a time
it is what
very
it
rough
is. Like,
at a rough time in Nigeria, and like you can give all the reasons whatsoever. This is not at all to justify or do anything like that. Like I said from the beginning, we're coming at this from a
grace,
place of grace. But yeah, no, like you can't give what you don't have. So a lot
fact.
of them weren't raised. They weren't raised with that warm and fuzzy and safe, like all that. They're like, what is that? And so they grow up with what they have, and now that's what they know to give. And I think it's really cool as people, like for us to do our own individual work on ourselves and to just grow and just kind of see our broken parts and try to bring healing to those
Yeah, because if
places so
not,
we
it
don't
bleeds
bleed on
into so many
others.
things like friendships, relationships,
Yeah.
work. Like it
Yes.
bleeds. Like you definitely the work
It
is so
bleeds.
needed. Yeah, it has to be done.
Yeah, it's so, so needed. Yeah. But tell us about what happened when you had to move out of home.
I
Had to move
love this
out.
story. I actually don't. But I'm far removed from it. Over a year and a half now removed from it. So I think I'm in a better place to speak on it. So of course, it was the same Nigerian. You would have heard the story before when I tell it. So it had to do with dishes. I live 2.5 hours away from work, and I would, yeah, because my dad lives.
2.5 hours
Yes,
driving?
no, train, taking the train. So I was taking the train.
Oh,
It's
oh, it's
far.
far.
So I'd go to work for two
Yeah.
and a half hours. I would work for 8 hours, and I would come back home 2.5 hours. And we have a washing machine.
That's 12
I know, a
hours.
12 hour.
That's 13
It was
hours.
long, and this is like on a regular day. Days where it was like -40, whatever. The buses, the trains, everybody is like congested. It's not running
Yeah.
the way that it's supposed to run anymore. So I told my dad, I was like, hey, we have a dishwasher. It's not a dish storage, because that's another thing they love to do. They will use a dishwasher as a dish storage. You're just supposed to
Yeah,
wash
yeah,
your
yeah.
dishes there and then take it out and put it where it's supposed to be. And we had like
Hmm.
a special one. It says energy saving. So like this was like a great, grade A type dishwasher. So I was like, okay, how
Hmm.
about I just put the dishes in the dishwasher, and then I don't have to worry about manually doing dishes. Respectfully, I'm not gonna have a 12-hour day and come home and manually do dishes. I'm so sorry. I'm
Hmm.
really tired.
Hmm.
One. And secondly, I have
Hmm.
to get ready for the next day. at the time I was in school, so I had to study. It was just like a lot for me to try to
Oh,
like
wow.
squeeze into one. And I'm just so, first of all, I'm tired from the whole transiting back and forth experience. And my dad just lost his mind. Like, I don't mean like lost his mind like that, but he was like, you're gonna start paying rent. And it's not even the way, it's the way that they, how I viewed it at the time was like, you think I'm never gonna be anything without your help. And like, you feel like I'm never gonna amount to anything without you being there. And I think one thing that I've seen like African parents like to do is like control you, like emotional abuse for sure, but then also like financial abuse, like in
Financial.
ways that are very insidious. Like when it comes to paying your school fees, where you have to go and kneel down and beg your dad to pay your school fees and like things like that. And I was just like, no, like I don't have to deal with this. And he brought up the typical like, oh, other people's children are doing better than you at your age. You should be doing this, that, and the third. And, comparing me to my sibling and just really, like, really, really, like, harnessing all this stuff. Like, this is why your mom doesn't like you. Like, saying all this, like, really, yeah, like, saying all these things that are, like, damn, like, you're really, really trying to hurt my feelings because I said I'm not going to manually do the dishes. Like, I sent him a message being like, he had told me like do your dishes and leave mine. Like he would just like say weird stuff. So then I started doing my dishes and leaving his because he was being quote unquote petty. Well, that was petty of me too. But like it's like if you're doing stuff like that, like don't say things like that. Anyways, then that kind of like really just like escalated, and I just remember feeling so hurt, and I was like, I can't believe like this is the same, like am I sure this is the same person that actually like made the conscious choice of bringing me into this world? Because there's no way you would say you brought your child into this world and you had this whole plan to like have children, like got married, did the whole thing, you wanted a child, you want a family, that's what you're letting us know of. I don't know. And I went upstairs and I bawled my eyes out. Like I was like, this is not a way to live. Like I already deal with a job that's like customer service. I have to deal with people like talking to me anyhow anyways. And going from
Yeah.
having people talk to you anyhow at work and then you come home and someone is literally doing the same thing. It actually chips at you and it chips at your self-confidence over time. And it's even worse if it's like a
Yeah.
partner or a parent because those are the people that you are having the most conversations with. And I just felt like it
Hmm.
was really, really chipping at me. Like I felt so low, and that's not like an experience I would never, ever, ever want to feel ever again in my life. But anyways, I
Hmm.
went on Facebook Marketplace and I found my place that I'm at now, and it's pretty central, and it was like really cheap. And the next day, I work out in the morning. Like I'm always up bright and early. I'm up. I'm ready to yap. I woke up bright and early and I went and checked out the place the next day and I signed my lease the same day and I literally moved out, like literally the same day. Like I came down 2 days after because I had to move my bed. I came down 2 days after and my dad had said like, well, if you're not gonna say good morning, I need you out of the house. And I'm like, I'm already moved out. Now that was a flex because I'm like, I'm already. He didn't even know I was gone. I guess maybe he didn't go into my room and he didn't see that the place was empty. And I just gave the keys back, got a U-Haul, moved my stuff, and that was it. And I have not spoken to him ever like since then. Like I haven't blocked on every single thing, like blocked. I'm like, I will never, like, you cannot speak to your children like that. I don't even speak to random people like that. Talk less of like someone you made the conscious choice to give birth to. And it's funny because like one of our family friends like called me and tried to mediate. And what she said was like, you have to teach your parents to love you. And I'm like, it's not my job to teach you that brought me out here to love me. Why do I have to be the one to teach you to love me? I don't want to have to teach anybody to love me. And again, going back to like this whole entire how it bleeds into stuff, is like now when I go into dating situations, it's like I don't want to have to teach someone how to love me to the point where I'm like self-sacrificing and I'm in the situation where someone is like actively like treating me like shit. And why do I have to
Hmm.
be there? I'm already free. Jesus not only died on the cross for me, I also have my place. I don't have to be here. So, like, honestly, like, I am definitely a free woman. I'm not a convict. Like, I can walk. You're not a tree. You can move. Like, and for me, that experience really, like, instilled a level of confidence that I think I really needed. Like, I needed that experience. I needed to move. I needed to be out of that situation. I needed to not speak to him because I don't think he understood how hurtful his words were. And it was like not the first time, it's never the first time. African, one thing about African parents, you get into a little like argument with them and they will bring everything up. that was just for me the
Mhm.
catalyst for everything, because I was like, wow, over a dishwasher,
Mm.
you bought an energy saving dishwasher and I can't even use it. And I literally told him, I was like, if you don't know how to use the dishwasher, I sent him the message. I was like, I will actually like teach you how to use it. Because in my mind, I think it's like maybe they don't like to use a dishwasher because they don't know how to. Because there's like phones, like they'll tell you to come downstairs and come and help them with the computer. Come downstairs and bring the remote. Come downstairs. In my mind, I'm thinking, are you not using it because you don't know? Because it's like you press two buttons and the thing starts running. It literally washes it and
Yeah.
dries it for you. Why do you have to put that onus on
Mhm.
me to hand wash something when I'm out 12, like the whole entire thing is over 12 hours and I still have to come home and study? That's not right. That's for me, that's not right. That's absolutely not right. So yeah, and I just moved out and I've been living by myself since. It's hard sometimes, but I think it's been really peaceful. It's funny because like after I moved out, because I was just always so anxious living at home. Like every time I would hear the garage like open up, I literally would like, I didn't even know I was anxious. Like so many things you don't even know because in like you said, mental
Yeah.
health, like things like that, it's not really a thing. You don't understand like why you're feeling this kind of ways. Like I had to go into therapy for like a year, over a year, yeah, to like deal with all of these emotions. I would just feel my heart like start like, like I'm antsy. Like I hear the garage door open, I'm getting up. Is like, is there something I should be doing? Is there something I shouldn't be doing? And when I
Mhm.
moved out, I kid you not, I could not wake up when I slept because like my body was finally at rest from always feeling so anxious. I overslept for like 4 months straight. Like I needed a gym buddy system. Like I needed to be accountable to someone or like to be personal training someone. Like that was the one thing that was getting me out of bed because my body was just so tired from putting all that stress on me of like always wanting to be like good enough. And for them, I know now like I'm never gonna be good enough. And like that's okay. I've come to peace with that. I don't even want to be because it's like this is a standard that's just ridiculous based on the amount of support that you've provided. Like I'll do it at my own pace. And if I get there, I get there. And if I don't, you know what? I did my best and I tried, and that for me is more than good enough. Like giving myself that grace too, and like being gentle with myself too. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my days, man. I'm so sorry that that was your experience.
Oh.
Like, and oh, what can I ask about like your mom? Was she
No,
there
my
when this was
mom's not
happening?
been
Like,
in the
was she?
picture for a while, so she wasn't there when all of this happened. But it's so funny because I just saw her like recently, and she actually just apologized for like all her participation in it, which was shocking because African parents apologizing, like Nigerian parents apologizing, that's shocker. Like for me,
That's
they
a
don't
myth. Yeah.
apologize. Like they're gonna ask like,
Yeah.
but I think that also comes from really, really not talking to them. Like I up until this point, I hadn't talked to my mom in about 4 years. Like for me, I had to make the conscious effort to be like, I am cutting these people off for real. Like you can't keep treating me like this. It's not okay. It's there are people who
Mhm.
have quote unquote terrible children, whatever. They don't even treat those children like that. They treat them with love. I'm not even doing anything crazy, but you still always feel the need to like, you know, always assert some kind of weird dominance over someone who's like an adult. Like when I first saw my mom, actually, when I haven't seen her in like 4 years, she was like, "Why won't you kneel down and say hi to your mom?" I'm like, I haven't seen you in 4 years, and this is what you're saying. It's like they always have this like respect thing. They always want to be respected, and I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, you have to understand for you to get that respect, it's reciprocal. Like you respect me, I respect you as well. Like
Yeah.
it has to go both ways. It's a
Yeah.
two-way street when it comes to things like that. You can't just call me all the names under the book and expect me when I see you, oh, good morning, ma, good morning, sir. No, no,
Yeah.
no. But
100%.
yeah, so I've been talking to her here and there, but I still try to like not. Like I think the whole entire experience was really hard for me. So I don't think I can just like put my heart back
Yeah.
out there and be like everything is like all rainbows, sunshines, and but I'm still making the effort because like people keep telling me like if your parents passed away, like this is something you will never forgive yourself for. And in a way, I'm like, are you trying to guilt me? And at the same time, I'm like, I could see that. So trying to be in the middle where it's like I can acknowledge my feelings, but also try to make space for her to have some kind of relationship with me if she wants to. But it has to be on my terms this time around. Like you can't just come and just try to, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so sorry because like the point where you get no, like, and it's, I think that's what we've talked about it already, right? Like the point where you reach where you're like, I'm a full grown adult, and nobody said I've not done everything in this world or yet. I don't have a kid, I may not have
No,
a husband,
no,
whatever, but like I'm a human being, and like just the basic respect that a human being deserves, I deserve that because that's all I give, and like respect cannot be unconditional. You
right.
can't expect to call me all the names, insult me, call, do this and do that, manipulate, blackmail, or blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah, do all the things, and then you're still expecting all the best behavior, even when you're not behaving the best to me, like, and then it gets really toxic and
yeah.
gets really like, oh my gosh, like that's a really extreme case. I'm sorry, I didn't realize like it could be
You
that
know,
bad.
it's
Like
so
listening.
funny. Like I kind of like was posting like little kiki TikToks here and there, and it accidentally reached so much that like someone from Dr. Phil was like, "Do you want to come on the Dr. Phil show?" And I was like, "This is when I know my life was." I was like, "Oh, maybe I should stop posting about that."
Please, you could have been on Dr. Phil instead of Afros in the diaspora.
They would just what? They just wanted to tell my story, me relieving my trauma for them to get money. So funny.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that was when I was like, oh, I don't think this is. And like people will comment their experiences and message me and things like that. I was like, and that made me realize I'm like, this is a very abnormal experience because then I would like go into depth with it on like TikTok and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I should just stop because I'm like, this is a lot.
It's a lot,
Yeah,
right? And like, even though you're saying you've been over a year and a half removed from it, it's still very new. Like, it happened yesterday, really. Like, if
but
you,
you know what?
you know what I mean?
Removing
It's not.
myself has helped tremendously, tremendously. Because I
Oh
felt like if I
yeah,
was still in
hundred
there, I don't
percent.
even think I'd be able to first of all realize how bad it was because like sometimes taking yourself out of this situation helps you like see like bird's eye view and like realize like damn this is bad, but if I was still in it I
Hmm.
don't think I would realize how bad it was because I wouldn't even be focused on like me healing. I'll be focused on like how to make my parents happy. Doing that they're
Yeah,
not happy, I'm not happy, nobody's happy in this situation, so like why.
yeah. But I feel like honestly, you got to that point though of seeing how bad it
Yeah, I didn't
was.
have
Do
a
you know what I
choice.
mean? Like, I think, yeah, I think it got to the level where like it's like for, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it was.
sorry, my heart is just like, it's just breaking. Like, I have my own experiences. Of course, we all do. Like most African, like kids have their own experiences with their parents.
And it makes it hard to be in relationships. I'm telling you, this is one thing I'm saying time and time and time and time again because it's like their idea of love is not love. Yeah, like that's not it. And then you tend to just repeat those cycles in relationships because when someone is doing certain
Oof,
things to you, you're like, well, my parents kind of behaved like that. They loved me. But it's like, no, like if you
yeah.
think about it, like in a relation, like an actual relationship sense, it's like, this isn't love. Like, this
Hmm.
cannot be love. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like, oh my God, like honestly, we could talk about this for the
Forever.
next 3 hours and not. Okay, to just bring it to a close here. There's so many parts of the story have loved to talk about because there is like it's so real and raw and like African parents of a certain generation. I think with our generation and a bit younger parents are trying to do a bit better
Yeah.
because I think most people have seen that.
It didn't work
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, I'm disciplined. Like I'm not a rascal, and I'm not on the street. I'm not fighting. But then I have abandonment
Yeah.
issues. I have these issues, and so people are trying to do the work for themselves so that they become better parents.
Mm.
And so if there was something you wish you could tell your dad or your mom, what would it be?
To my mom, first of all, she was 31 when she married my dad. And if you know anything about African culture, you know that's too old because you should have gotten married
Mm-hmm.
when you were 22. If I could tell her anything, I
Mm-hmm.
would have told her to not be pressured into marriage. And I don't think she was like pressured, but the society, people start talking and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think she should have just kept doing her. And I just wish she would just kept doing her. And then maybe at some point, if she decided to have kids, have kids. If not, then she should have just kept doing her, to be honest, because I think that the pressure kind of made her. maybe make a decision that she thought would be okay because this is a Christian person, blah 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 blah. But that would be like my thing to my mom. To my dad,
Mm.
I would say he should have worked on the experiences that made him that the way he is as an adult, has some childhood trauma that he should have worked on. Maybe not in Nigeria, but here we have so much access to so many different kinds of like therapy and stuff like that. I think he should have done that so that he can kind of see the ways that he does things, how it affects other people. Because I don't think that he's, maybe this is just me like enabling. I don't think I'm enabling, but I don't think sometimes people understand like the impacts of their words and their actions on their loved ones. Like he might have just, to him he was just probably saying something that maybe he didn't really mean, but to me on the receiving end of it, that was really harsh. So just
Mm-hmm.
like working on delivery, even when you're like annoyed at someone, because he was annoyed at me for not manually hand washing the thing, working on delivery and like going to therapy to know how to communicate with someone, I would say that would be it.
Yeah.
Look at
Thank you so much
me,
for
I
sharing
give
your
him so much
story.
grace. Would they give me
Like,
that grace back?
no, no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that though. Don't worry about that. Right? They're on their own
They're on
journeys
their
as
own
human beings.
journeys,
Like
and I can
they've not
honestly,
been here
I can
before.
wish the best
They've
for
not
them.
had kids before. They didn't have a practice run. This
This
was
is the
the
first
one and
run.
done. You know what I mean? This is the first run. This is no dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
They didn't get to run lines with anyone. They didn't get to do any of that, right? So that's why, like, I preface this with, we just have to approach this from eyes of grace and just trying to offer that to each other
Hmm.
and to our parents, right? Because like they can't give what they don't have. If they grew up during the Civil War and like survival,
Yeah,
it
mentality.
was survival first, and there was that mentality. That's all they have to give. That's all they have to teach, and that's the way they show love,
Hmm.
right? Is by making sure your fees are paid, your food is ready, emotional
No.
connection. What is that? You know what I mean? Like, and that's a very real thing, right? And so as an adult, not of course not dismissing the effects of what they were able to impact and not impact, but it also is, you doing the work for yourself, because now it's your responsibility whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, final thoughts to African parents, please
Please just be gentle with us. Like we're trying our best.
be gentle.
Please, a
Yeah,
little gentle
we're
parenting. We know you can't do it fully, but
just
just
this
try a little bit. Something
Yeah,
small.
just a sprinkle of that gentleness. Just a sprinkle. You can still discipline us, of course. We
Yeah,
don't
just
want
be a
to,
little
but
gentle.
a
Yes,
little kinder with your
yes.
words, like all the name
Calling is so
calling, the
unnecessary.
like
The comparisons, I'm telling
comparison,
you.
like
Yeah,
those are not useful. Those don't help us become
yeah,
better. Instead, they kind of beat on our self-esteem,
yes.
self-confidence, and things that we need to survive in the world. And yeah, thank you
Thank
so much,
you for
Morountodun, for
having
sharing
me.
for sharing your heart, man.
Yes.
You literally were like, "Let me tear my heart open
No,
and
for real.
share,"
I
and
I
like
haven't
I,
even spoken about this in like probably like 9 months because I was like after that whole TikTok thing happened, I was like, yeah, I need to shut up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks so
again. Thank
much.
you for coming on and
Yeah.
sharing. Leave us with a word of advice for our listeners. Like, leave us with a spring.
You know what? Come work out. Come to Tone with Todun. You might not be able to work with your African parents, but you can work out. You can do a little 30-minute workout.
You can burn some of that frustration
Yes, you can
out.
come
You
and
can just
take
burn it
out take
out.
out the aggression of the workout.
Yeah, take out the aggression in the workout.
Frustration from
Exactly.
your parents. Come and
And
work it out.
yep, 100%. And where can people find you? What's your
My
social
social
media?
media is
What's
just
your
Morountodun. It's my name, and that's basically where I post like everything, stories and like Instagram stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank
amazing?
you
Thank
so
you once again,
much.
Maroon, for
Yes, thanks for
coming
having
and being a
me.
part of this
Thank
podcast.
you.
Yeah, of course, of course. And for our listeners, thank you so much for sticking with us and listening with ears and hearts of grace.
Yes,
And we say thank
thank
you
you.
until the next episode. Bye,
Bye.
y'all.